Hello everyone, it is video blog time. Um, no subject today, I just want to talk before I get into anything in particular. I know my sound has not been that good on these video blogs lately because something's up with the microphone on my phone. It doesn't sound that good, and I mean you can still hear it, and that's why I'll keep doing them. But I'm going to be buying a new camera very, very soon to up the quality on these vlogs and basically anything I use a camera for. So yeah, it's time that I do that. So I already picked the camera that I want, and it should be cool to see my quality go up. So yeah, there's that. And if you hear the dishwasher, it's running right now, so that's what that is. If you hear it. Okay, and also I have been doing some vlogs about my songs. The plan was that I was gonna do a video blog for each song or a couple songs for each vlog, and I had finished the first album worth of songs, which was the Mixed Up in Hollywood album. That's 14 songs, and I was about to move on, and then I kind of decided that it's not the right time to be doing that. So I've kind of pulled the plug on those vlogs, which was, it must have been about 4 or 5 of them, because I was combining 3 songs for a video, and it was cool. But I just don't think it's time. Like, it's a lot of songs. It's a lot of, it's not pressure or anything. I mean, I can do them whenever I want. But it's just, I don't feel ready to talk about the songs, all the way through like that. It's a lot. And, once I talk about the songs, that's it. I suppose there should be some info that I can keep to myself, and then, when I feel it's time to talk about a certain song, then I will. But, or if I get interviewed for any interview or something, then maybe give the info of the songs there, or just at any other time. But I think in a video blog, it's like, no, it's not like anyone's asked me to make vlogs about my songs, and I mean, it could have been fine. It could have been a decent thing to do, but if anything, maybe I'll do it later. But for now, yeah, I'm just not gonna do that yet. I'm gonna kind of use my vlog and kind of go back to the idea of just random topics, like whatever I want to talk about, and occasionally do-it-yourself music stuff, like I, always go back to. But and that's only when I have something to talk about, or maybe the songwriting or vocals. Like sometimes I'll touch back up on that. But I kind of just want to go into a little period where I start talking about a bunch of random stuff, like I had been doing before I started making my album. So anyways, right now I have nothing I want to talk about, to be honest with you, or had nothing prior to this. At this point, I really mean that. Not just saying that. Looking at myself, I need a shave. Goodness. That's what happens. I've got 2 kids, a house husband today, what do you call it? Stay-at-home dad, for today and tomorrow for sure. Anyways, let's see. What do we got here? I'm on YouTube right now. Scrolling through YouTube. Music's so funny. Like, it's especially now that that I have a lot of time to think, because if I'm at home all day, with my kids, obviously it's hard to stop the mind, unless you're meditating or something. So I'm constantly thinking of things to do, and usually always related to music, because it's what I think about. What I'm going to create next, what I'm going to, even something as small as an Instagram post or something like that. And it's such a weird thing, music in America, and I say America because it's where I'm from, but I'm sure it's around the world. There's no path or anything, and there's no career of choice. There's no career path. There's no tried and true method. It's just a lot of just sticking around and being passionate about what you do. So here I go. I guess I'm starting to go into music. It's always funny to me because I give some advice on these vlogs about do-it-yourself stuff, I've talked about songwriting. I've talked about vocals. And I've always told myself that, I've always told the listeners to, I suppose told myself too, because trying to stay humble and trying to stay based in reality, that I know that my advice does not come with, I don't have any badges to show. I don't have any certificates to show you on things I've accomplished, other than the fact that I am, I suppose, prolific. I've written a lot of music. I'm always challenging myself to write new, good music. Hopefully, occasional great songs. But I know that it's very weird to take advice from somebody who obviously is not showing any sort of real trophies, accolades. But I also know that people understand that that's possible as long as the right energy is thrown out, and that's what I try to do. I try to throw out the correct energy for the accolades that I have, But anyways, I've talked about songwriting, I've talked about vocals, and the funny thing about it is that one of the things as I've learned, and I think one of the main things I've learned in music as time goes on, it's been a long time that I've been doing this, and it's one of those things like the more you know, the less you know, but then it's like things start getting more simple. The more complicated things get, then all of a sudden, the more you do things, the more experience you get. Those complicated things start becoming a little bit more simple, and then at the very end, not that I'm at the very end, but I'm just saying the more experience you get, I guess it starts becoming wisdom, I suppose. It starts polishing up a very simple idea, and a simple thought process. And that thought process for me is, it's all BS, and that's one of the things that I always say now, like if it's a tweet or if it's like a bio, some sort of bio that I write, or some sort of paragraph of ideas, I usually always say, hey, you know what, it's all BS anyways. Someone can tell you, this is how you should do something, as someone can say, this is what I think, and you can take it with a grain of salt. Even if it's someone that has 20 Grammy Awards. I have a very funny story here. And by the way, this is all completely random. Just talking at the top of my head. I think it's kind of a cool way to do things because, in other words, I don't even know how I'm going to title this video blog. I'm just talking, to kind of see what comes out. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah. Alright, so I still haven't gotten it yet. Don't you hate when that happens? I'll get it. Music. Even if it's someone with a ton of Grammys or whatever, oh yeah, I got the story. It was a story. To kind of talk about how that's true, about it doesn't matter if it's a beginner or someone who's won 20 Grammy Awards giving you advice. The funny story that I read on, I'm a big fan of tennis, and I was on a tennis message board somewhere where someone was talking about how Andre Agassi ruined their tennis game because, and this is a man who's considered one of the all-time greats, my personal favorite tennis player of all time, and obviously this person also was very influenced by him as well. He says Agassi ruined his tennis, chances because he got to meet him. I've never met him. This man got to, or I don't know if it was a man or a woman, but this person got to meet Agassi, and he asked for advice from Agassi in the quick time that he met him, and the guy told, and then Agassi told the person, hit it hard, and if you mess up or if things are going bad, hit it harder. Now, I'm just quoting a story, not 100% perfectly, that I read years ago, but it always stuck with me because it's so true. It's a true thing. Like, here you got a guy who's won 8 Grand Slams, considered one of the greatest tennis players of all time. They call him the cleanest ball striker to ever hit a tennis ball, right? So basically saying no one's ever hit a tennis ball as good as Agassi could, right? If you read his book, which I have read his book, his dad pushed him when he was a kid so hard that this was something that came out of it. I mean, he became a machine with how he hit the tennis ball, and how they prepped him to be. And I'm sure a little bit of natural talent, and I read that he had really good eyes. He would see the ball really well, so that helped as well. But yeah, I mean, no one's ever hit a ball like him because of the way he trained as a kid. So my point being here is that when Agassi tells this person, hit the ball hard, and if things are going bad, hit it even harder. It's the worst advice ever. Seriously, terrible advice, regardless whether it's coming from a Grand Slam champion. That's not good advice. First, he was probably just joking, or probably just like whatever. But two, even if he was serious, like no one's gonna be able to do that because no one is Andre Agassi. Like nobody can hit the ball like him, other than other top pros as well, and even other top pros don't hit like Agassi. He had his own way of playing. It'd be like asking Pete Sampras, what do I do? Well, you know what? Serve some aces out wide on that ad side, follow it up, do a little half volley, and you got it. Yeah, nobody has the serve in the hands of Pete. I mean, that's easier said than done, isn't it? So it would be like Roger Federer, in case you're not familiar with those slightly older tennis players. It'd be like Federer saying, "Hey, just if you want to win some tournaments, hey, just move like me and get that racket head speed as fast as mine, and you got it. And keep your eye on the ball." It ain't that easy, right? And it's a long way to explain that sometimes even getting clinics from top people may not give you answers. So it may too. You may get some great advice. I guess in the end it depends how good the person is or how much they care to give you correct, useful advice. But here's another piece of advice I want to talk about that I found to be very, very helpful actually. And it falls in line with what I was talking about. They probably found it a jumble of mess of words about 5 minutes ago when I talked about how did I explain it? I said sometimes when you're getting into something, things can seem incredibly complicated, but after you really work on something for long enough, you start seeing how things stop becoming complicated and start becoming quite simple. And maybe someone who's not in the same area that you are, they're at the same point that you are at. That simple thing can still seem really complicated, or maybe something simple advice can seem really stupid because you haven't gotten there yet. To understand that no, it's actually great. Another piece of advice that I actually thought is useful, and some people thought it was the stupidest thing they've ever heard. Spotify for artists, which is a really cool, it's good. It's a good tool. I'm glad it exists. It allows you to get that blue check mark on Spotify, and you can use the tools to kind of see who's hearing your songs. Little demographic, analytics for Spotify, and it's very useful. How many streams your songs have, stuff like that. So they also provide like small little pieces of advice, videos from successful artists. The one that I liked the most was from Rick Ross, the rapper. I liked it because there was a lot of truth in it. And the funny thing about it is that, I don't want to say I've talked about it in maybe other videos, because it just kind of, I got it, And when I saw the video on Facebook, people were bashing the video saying, really, that's it? Like, that's all you got? And essentially, what he's saying is exactly what I just told you right now, earlier, that it's all BS, So in the end of the day, don't take things too serious, but at the same time, be passionate. It's a combination of those two things, I think. Be passionate, never let that up, always try to get better, and at the end of the day, smile and say, it's all BS anyways, okay? I think that's what Rick Ross is trying to say here, but in a way that's actually better than even I can say, because this is a man who's living, like he's there, he's at the top. He said something like, I guess the advice is like, what do you have to do, right, to be successful or something? And he says something like, you gotta have game, right? You gotta have game. Now, don't quote me exactly on this because it's been a while since I've seen it, but I mean about you gotta have game. If you have game, you get work. If you get work, you make paper, right? And that'll take you to the top. Something like that. So people were like, wait, what? That's it? That's it? And I'm like, the thing about it is that I think a statement like that is a very well thought out statement because you want to get to the root of the problem. You want to get to the root of an artist. What's the root of an artist? Well, the artists are all different, right? Artists are all different. So now there isn't the same like backstory to every artist. Every artist comes from a different place. Every artist has different things they care about. Every artist has their own, DNA, genetic makeup to make them who they are. And so there is no set, detailed formula for that. It's different for everybody. So what can you do? You can make it vague that works for everybody. And what works for everybody is you got to have game. I get it. You see? I do. You can say, but that's simple. No, it's not, because in order to really simplify something that's very complicated, that actually makes sense to me. You got to have game. Lots of people, lots of artists do not have game. Because if you have game, you get work. Now, work can mean a lot of different things for everybody different. Maybe for a rapper, you know what, I'm not even going to go into it because I don't know. Maybe a rapper wants to, we'll make an album. Maybe want to get co-featured in another artist's album, or do a lot of like duets sort of thing, or shows. Work would be considered shows. You're getting on a lot more shows. That's something that's across the board for all artists. But in terms of like knowing the difference between country, rap, different genres. I mean, obviously I can't do that. But in terms of like for what I do, obviously work would be getting more shows, getting on better bills where I'm maybe supporting the main act, playing to a lot of people. You're getting people that want to make videos for you, people that want to photograph you, people that people that want to interview you. That's all work, and you're gonna get work if you have game. I get it completely. And then if you're doing all of that, you're gonna get paper. You're gonna get paid because it's gonna happen because it all comes together. And if you do all those things, you're only gonna shoot one way, up. That's actually a beautiful way to put what you got to do in this industry or business, depending on how you see it. And sometimes simple is a lot more complicated, and it comes from a place that was a lot more complicated. In order to get it simple like that, it takes a lot of trial and error. It takes a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. It takes a lot of all that stuff. So I'm at the point where I hear something like that, I'm like, hi, that's quite good. I get it. And it can actually make you look in the mirror and say, wait a second. Do I have game? You know what I'm saying? Like, game isn't the same thing for everybody. It's how it, and that's why it's so cool. Is because it works for everybody, even though everybody's so different. Like, for example, Ed Sheeran has game, right? Well, he must. He totally has game. I mean, but is his game like Prince was? Like the Prince's game was? No, it's different. Is Slipknot's game like Prince? Absolutely not, right? Is Tori Amos like them? Is Lady Gaga like? I'm trying to think of something. Is Lady Gaga like George Strait? Not quite. They're different. Cardi B like Celine Dion. They're different. Lots of different artists. Some punk bands like the Descendants. They got game, even though it's kind of like, and not punk to have game. Their game is to do what they do, and they do it well. That's game. It fits for everybody. It doesn't matter what you do. It's a good way of saying it's a combination of saying that you know what you're doing, you're good at what you do. People look at you and think, man, I want to be a part of that project. Like I want to buy into it. I want a piece of that. Like I want to buy it. That's game to me. You're hot, in many ways. Like you're people want to be around it, the project, all that in one. And you got game. All the artists I mentioned right now obviously have game. The ones you've heard of have game because you've heard of them. The ones that you have never heard of, well, maybe you just haven't heard of them, but sometimes people have trouble getting somewhere because they don't have it. And you gotta work to have it. And this is a funny thing about music. Getting past the whole idea of what I was just talking about, and kind of going more into like the idea of there's no real path. Here's the funny thing: you can learn the art of writing music, or you can learn the art of recording music. There's a lot of different things to learn within music. You can learn music theory. You can learn all the different scales. You can learn all that stuff. And you can make music that's great. You can release it, right? And it may fall to deaf ears. No one will hear it, right? It's very saturated right now. But then you can get someone who vlogs, or someone who vlogs about politics, or vlogs about basically anything. I don't know, dogs or animals, whatever. And if they get a good amount of subscribers, 300,000, 100,000, I don't know, maybe even 10,000. I've seen good communities on YouTube channels that have like 5,000 subscribers. So, but if you get the people, corralled in an area where like a YouTube channel, and then you throw a song out, and you don't know much about songwriting because it's not what you do, but you just kind of like, hey, here's a song. Your song is going to be heard by more people, and their perception knobs are going to be turned all the way to I want to like this, and they're going to have more of an impact musically than the person that studied theory, that's the person that's trying to learn how to write songs. And you may say, well, yes, because they're popular already, they got a flow of people. Well, yes, that's why. And that's what makes music so difficult. Now, that's just the reality of things, and I have to accept that. And anyone who wants to get somewhere in music has to accept that. That's how it works. And music's very funny like that. People that say someone hears a song from someone who has nothing to do with music, but they release a song and they talk about, I don't know, fixing cars for a living, right? Well, it don't matter. The person that goes to their page and about fixing cars, and then now you're going to hear this song. You're going to be, like I said, that perception knob is not going to be at the point where it's like, well, you're going to want to like it more because you already like this person. That has a lot to do with liking music. You got to almost want to like something. How many times have you kind of swayed yourself into liking something? Like, well, I don't know if I like that. I don't like it. And all of a sudden you're like, well, kind of want to like it. All of a sudden you love it. That's not easy for an artist that's in the DIY world because you don't get a lot of chances. You get 30 seconds from someone. It's like, well, if you don't fit the right, and something throws people off, you're done. So it helps to have a channel that has a lot of people that come to it, even regardless whether it's an ASMR channel or a politics channel or about cars. It don't matter. But it kind of falls in the idea that, hey, music is something that you could be better off doing another career and then throwing your music out, and it would have a better chance than trying to be a musician all on your own, because the chances are very small. And people do make it. People in all different walks of like. Some make it on their own without a label. Some get signed. So it's all many different ways to make it, but it's not the majority for sure. Which makes sense. It's never the majority that becomes successful, anyways. So I do want to throw those ideas out there like that because it is funny to me. It is quite funny to me that's how it is. So I wouldn't even be against vlogging so much that I get more people coming in to my pages for the vlogs. About all different kinds of subjects. I don't care. Today I ended up following more music, but I can tell you it's not going to always be that way. I may vlog about, how I used to like to have reptiles. I used to be real into snakes. I used to, I still have my sulcata tortoise. Big guy. Big guy. I'll show him to you. So, if you look at my YouTube channel, on my other stuff playlist, you'll see him. but he's grown since then. Anyways, there's a lot of different things I like and I want to talk about. So today's music, just kind of rambling on what I think. But on the other side of it, the chances are endless, and I really like that I'm starting to see that like so many people are living the dream again for throwing their music out there. I'm seeing people in their 60s and that are getting welcomed with open arms. Like, hey, it's cool to see older people not giving up either. So, yeah, on one side of the token, it's very hard because we're living in an oversaturated world when it comes to entertainment. But then on the other hand, it's like, well, at the same time, the chances are more than ever. So it is what it is. It's got pluses and minuses. In the end, I'm just going to end this video blog with Rick Ross's words. To my do-it-yourself artists out there, you want to shake things up, you want more people to care about you, this goes to myself as well. It's not always about learning the details. Of course, if you're passionate, you're going to learn them anyways. I'm not saying to like get lazy and not learn music. Of course you're going to want to do that. But at the end of the day, you can learn all that, and you should learn all that as much as you can. You should be a student to what you want to do. I'm not a music theory guy, even though I respect the people that do it. I want to get better at writing simple songs, the kind of songs I write. I always want to be a better version of what I am. And like right now, I'm practicing guitar a lot because I want to get better at the guitar. So it's all about getting better, but at the same time, it can be silly things that get you further, and it's all wrapped up in that one thing that Mr. Rick Ross calls game. And I gotta agree. I have to agree. And game can mean something completely different for everybody. If that was not the case, then you wouldn't have all the different kinds of artists we have. So different. Introvert, extrovert. Some write lyrics this way, some write lyrics that way, some write music this way, some write music that way. Some hate it, some love it. Some like playing live, some hate playing live. Some like the studio more, some hate recording. Some are 6 feet tall, some are 5 feet tall. Some are, all different kinds of people from all different areas of the planet with different belief systems. I think you get the point. The game is something you can all have in a different way. But you'll know it when you have it. People will know it when you have it. I'm still working to get this Chris Guy project in its most coolest, whatever my game is. I have no idea. But definitely going to work it. Definitely going to work at it because I want that. What are the combination? Get game, get work, get paper, go to the top. I'll take it. So anyways, hope you enjoyed it. Till next time, rock on.